The vast chamber of the Galactic Council hushed as the doors parted. Admiral Han stood tall as she led Earth's small delegation forward. Her uniform was crisp and perfectly pressed, but still looked primitive compared to the flowing, shimmering garments of the alien representatives. The council floor was a marvel of engineering, a massive circular platform floating in the center of a chamber carved into an asteroid. Representatives from over 300 worlds sat in tiered sections. Many leaned forward, curious about these newcomers. "The delegation from Earth may approach," announced High Counselor Derma, his forearms raised in formal greeting. Admiral Han bowed slightly, exactly as she had practiced. "We thank the Galactic Council for accepting Earth into your community of worlds." Counselor Derma nodded, his scaled face unreadable. Earth's application was unusual. Few species achieve faster-than-light travel with such limited understanding of quantum mechanics. A ripple of polite laughter moved through the chamber. Admiral Han kept her expression neutral. "Nevertheless," Derma continued, "all spacefaring species have the right to representation. Now, as is customary, please share your defensive capabilities with the Council." This was the moment Admiral Han had dreaded. Behind her, Lieutenant Kang activated a small projector. A hologram appeared in the center of the chamber showing Earth's fleet. The laughter was immediate and unmistakable. "Are those mining vessels?" asked a representative with translucent skin. "Yes," Admiral Han replied, "retrofitted for defense." The ships in the hologram were clearly not purpose-built warships. Some were converted mining platforms with weapons bolted to their hulls. Others were old satellites upgraded with crude armor plating. "How charming," said an ambassador with feathers instead of hair. "They remind me of my hatchling's first attempt at spacecraft design." Admiral Han felt her face grow hot, but she kept her voice steady. "We work with what we have." "Indeed you do," Derma said, not unkindly. "Earth will be categorized as a Class 7 civilization. You will receive standard protection rights and trade access to non-restricted technologies." Class 7 was just one step above primitive. Admiral Han knew this but nodded gratefully. As the Earth delegation was escorted to their assigned quarters, Han noticed many council members watching them with amusement or pity. "They think we're jokes," whispered Lieutenant Kang. "Let them," Han replied. "We'll learn what we can while we're here." Over the next weeks, the Earth delegation attended council sessions, carefully observing the technologies and tactics discussed. Earth had barely joined galactic society when reports came of trouble on the outer rim. The Vorax Imperium, a species known for aggression, had been pushing boundaries with small raids. "The Vorax test us," explained Counselor Derma during a session. "They seek weakness." Then came news that shocked the Council. A small Earth patrol near Jupiter had encountered a Vorax scout group. Against all expectations, the human ships had driven off the attackers. The Council chamber erupted with questions when Admiral Han arrived the next day. "Explain how your vessels defeated Vorax ships," demanded a reptilian ambassador. Han displayed the battle recording. The Earth ships had used Jupiter's radiation belts to mask their approach, then attacked from multiple angles. When one human ship was damaged, its crew had manually rerouted systems to keep weapons online. "Impossible," said a Council military advisor. "Your technology is too primitive." "We are good at improvising," Han said simply. "Luck," declared Counselor Derma. The Vorax were not expecting resistance in that sector. "Do not let this victory give you false confidence. Admiral, your ships would not last 5 minutes against a proper Vorax battle group." As the Earth delegation left the chamber, Admiral Han noticed something different in how the other representatives looked at them. There was still dismissal, still amusement, but now there was also curiosity. Back in their quarters, Lieutenant Kang asked, "Should we tell them about the other ships we're building?" Admiral Han shook her head. "Not yet. Let them think what they want about our capabilities." "They laugh at our ships," Kang said with frustration. "For now," Han replied, studying the schematics of alien vessels they had observed in the Council. But they haven't seen what humans can do when properly motivated. As she looked at the designs, Han was already thinking of ways to adapt them, improve them. The Council species had been at peace too long. They built beautiful ships with advanced technology, but they had forgotten something humans knew too well: how to fight when everything was against you. The emergency alarms blared throughout the Galactic Council headquarters. Representatives from hundreds of worlds rushed to the main chamber, their faces lined with worry. At the center of the room, a massive holographic display showed the latest Vorax attacks, red dots spreading across what had once been secure Council space. "The Orano system has fallen," announced Supreme Commander Mero, his multiple eyes blinking rapidly in distress. "That marks the 5th major defeat in 2 months." Admiral Song of Earth sat quietly at the back of the chamber. She had expected this. The Vorax were not the disorganized raiders the Council had dismissed them as. They were methodical conquerors, testing defenses before striking hard at weak points. "Our latest battle cruisers were destroyed," continued Commander Mero. "The Vorax have developed countermeasures for our shield technology." The chamber erupted in worried voices. Earth's delegation exchanged knowing glances. The Council ships were beautiful, advanced, and predictable. When the noise settled, Admiral Song stood. "Earth would like to propose a joint defense initiative. We believe our approach to ship design and combat tactics may offer some advantages." The silence lasted only seconds before laughter spread through the chamber. "Admiral Song," said Counselor Derma with what passed for a smile on his reptilian face, "we appreciate Earth's enthusiasm, but this is hardly the time for untested ideas from a Class 7 civilization." "Our ideas are not untested," Song replied calmly. "We have successfully defended our sector against Vorax probing attacks 12 times now." "Minor skirmishes," dismissed Commander Mero. "Nothing compared to full-scale invasion fleets." Admiral Song nodded politely and sat down. She had expected this response, but had to make the offer officially. The Council would not seek Earth's help until they were desperate, and by then it might be too late. After the meeting, Admiral Song returned to the small Earth embassy on the station. There, she entered a secure communication room and activated the quantum entanglement transmitter, one of the few truly advanced technologies Earth possessed, reverse-engineered from a crashed alien ship decades before contact. "Operation Shadow Fleet is now authorized," she told the serious face that appeared on the screen. "Full production." General Yoon nodded from his office orbiting Earth. "The shipyards are ready. How long do we have?" "Based on the Vorax advance, 6 months, maybe less, before they reach our sector in force." "We'll be ready," promised Yoon. For 3 months, Earth worked in secret. While the Council saw only the small fleet of converted mining ships, deep within asteroid bases and hidden lunar facilities, humanity's true military might took shape. Unlike the gleaming Council vessels with their standardized designs, each Earth ship was unique. They incorporated lessons learned from thousands of years of human warfare: redundant systems, manual overrides, compartmentalized sections that could be sealed off, and weapons designed not to be the most powerful but the most adaptable. "They expect us to build like them," General Yoon told his engineers as he toured the largest shipyard, hidden inside a hollowed-out asteroid. "But we know better." Engineer Ba looked up from her welding. "The Council ships are beautiful, but they're designed for showing off, not surviving. One critical hit and their whole system goes down." "Exactly," said Yoon. "Humans have been killing each other for millennia. We know how to build ships that can take a beating and keep fighting." Each vessel in Earth's secret fleet contained innovations born from hard combat experience. While Council ships relied on perfect coordination from central computers, human vessels could operate independently if command structures failed. While alien crafts depended on flawless technology, Earth ships had backup systems for the backup systems. Admiral Song received regular updates on the growing fleet, but kept this information from the Council. Every week brought news of more Vorax victories and Council defeats. "They're getting closer," Lieutenant Park noted during a briefing, pointing to the star map where Vorax forces pushed steadily toward Earth's sector. "And the Council is getting more desperate," Song replied. "Their ships look impressive but fight poorly. They've forgotten what we humans never could. That war is chaos, and survival depends on adapting to that chaos." In a hidden command center beneath the lunar surface, General Yoon reviewed the combat readiness of Earth's true fleet. 100 ships now, with more completing each day. Not beautiful by Council standards, perhaps even ugly with their practical designs and visible armor plating, but each one built to survive. "The Council laughs at what they think is our fleet," Yoon told his captains during their final briefing. "Let them laugh. When the real fighting starts, we'll see who's still standing at the end." As the Vorax pushed deeper into Council space, Earth waited, prepared, and remembered the oldest human wisdom about warfare. The greatest deception is to appear weak when you are strong. The emergency signal flashed across every communication channel in Council space. Bendar Station, the central hub connecting 6 major trade routes, was under full-scale Vorax attack. The massive space station housed over 8 million beings from dozens of species and represented the Council's greatest achievement in galactic cooperation. Now it faced destruction. "We need reinforcements immediately," came the desperate voice of Station Commander Lex. "Our defense grid is failing. Civilian casualties are mounting." In the Council emergency chamber, representatives watched in horror as live feeds showed the Vorax fleet, nearly 300 warships, surrounding the station. The Council's own defense fleet, once considered invincible, burned in space around them. "There are no ships close enough to help," Supreme Commander Mero said, his voice hollow. "Our nearest battle group is 3 days away." Admiral Song of Earth stood. "Earth forces can reach Bender in 6 hours." The chamber fell silent. Then Commander Mero laughed bitterly. "Your handful of mining ships against the main Vorax fleet. You would be destroyed before you fired a single shot." "Perhaps," Admiral Song replied calmly. "But we're the only option Bendar Station has." Counselor Derma studied the human carefully. "You seem unusually confident, Admiral." Song nodded once. "Permission to assist Bendar Station." Derma looked around the chamber. No one objected. What did it matter? The humans could do no worse than the Council's own failed defenses. "Granted," he said, "though I fear you send your people to their deaths." Admiral Song bowed slightly and left the chamber. Once in the secure Earth embassy, she activated the quantum communicator. "General Yoon, deploy Shadow Fleet to Bender Station. Full combat readiness." On Earth's moon, hidden command centers burst into activity. 150 ships, not the pathetic converted mining vessels the Council knew about, but purpose-built warships created with humanity's long experience of warfare, powered up their engines. "Shadow Fleet launching," General Yoon confirmed. "Battle groups Alpha through Echo are away." 6 hours later, the desperate defenders of Bendar Station saw new contacts on their sensors. "Earth vessels," announced a junior officer, unable to hide his disappointment. "Only Earth." The Vorax seemed to share this assessment. Their massive fleet barely paused in its assault. Then something unexpected happened. The Earth ships did not approach in standard formation. Instead, they scattered, breaking into small groups that approached from multiple vectors. Their movements seemed random, unpredictable. "What are they doing?" asked Commander Lex, watching the tactical display. Before anyone could answer, the Earth ships opened fire. Not with the elegant energy weapons favored by Council races, but with clouds of missile drones that scattered across space, changing direction unpredictably. The Vorax fleet, accustomed to the mathematical precision of Council tactics, struggled to respond. Their targeting computers failed to predict the erratic movements of the human ships. On the Earth flagship, Admiral Kang watched calmly as the battle unfolded. "Deploy electronic countermeasures," she ordered. "Groups Beta and Delta, Execute Flanking Maneuver 6. The human ships suddenly released thousands of small objects, simple decoys that confused Vorax sensors. Meanwhile, two battle groups swung around to attack the Vorax fleet from behind. Their ships look like they're held together with spare parts, said Representative Nulo, watching the battle from the council chamber. But they fight like nothing I've seen before. On screen, a human vessel took a direct hit from a Vorax cruiser. Council members winced, expecting it to explode. Instead, the ship vented atmosphere from the damaged section, sealed it off, and continued fighting. Impossible, whispered Commander Mero. Their hull should have cracked. As the battle continued, the council representatives began to understand. These weren't the primitive ships Earth had shown them. These vessels moved with purpose, coordinated yet independent, each capable of fighting alone if needed. When a Vorax command signal knocked out communications across the battlefield, council ships would have been paralyzed. The human vessels simply continued fighting, each captain making decisions without central command. They'd been preparing for this, Councillor Derma realized. While we laughed at their fleet, they built this. 3 hours into the battle, the unthinkable happened. The Vorax fleet began to retreat. For the first time in the war, the invaders had met a force they could not overwhelm. Inside her damaged but functional ship, Admiral Kang allowed herself a small smile. Signal all groups, she ordered. Defensive perimeter around Bender Station. Rescue operations for damaged council vessels. On Bender Station, Commander Lex watched in amazement as the human ships, many now bearing scars from battle, moved to protect the station they had saved. How? He asked the communication screen where Admiral Kang's face appeared. How did you defeat them when our best ships could not? You build ships that can't fail, Kang replied simply. We build ships that can fail and keep fighting anyway. That's the human way. The Earth flagship Perseverance docked at the central bay of the Galactic Council station. Unlike the smooth, gleaming vessels of other species, the human ship bore obvious battle scars. Patches of mismatched metal covered damaged sections. Exposed wiring ran along parts of the hull. Yet it had returned from the battle at Bender Station victorious. Admiral Min stepped onto the council station, accompanied by her senior officers. Where once they had received polite smiles of condescension, now they walked through corridors filled with whispers of respect and curiosity. The council has requested a full inspection of your vessels, said Representative Nulo, who had been assigned as their guide. The blue-skinned alien couldn't hide his excitement. Every technical advisor in council space wants to understand how you defeated the Vorax. We have nothing to hide anymore, Admiral Min replied. Though I doubt they'll find what they expect. The main council chamber had been transformed into an examination area. There, Earth engineers had disassembled parts of their combat systems for inspection. Council scientists moved from table to table, their expressions changing from curiosity to confusion to growing respect. This targeting system is primitive, said Chief Technologist Pero, examining a guidance computer. But it can operate without central network coordination. When communications fail in battle, each ship must think for itself, explained Engineer Ryu. Each captain must make decisions alone. At another table, weapons specialists studied Earth's missile systems. These aren't particularly powerful, noted one alien expert. They don't need to be, replied Lieutenant Bo. They're designed to be fired in groups of hundreds, changing course unpredictably. Even if only 10% hit their target, that's enough. Councillor Derma approached Admiral Min as she observed the examinations. I owe you an apology, Admiral. We dismissed Earth as a minor power. We were wrong. Min nodded. You expected us to build ships like yours. Beautiful, perfect machines that operate flawlessly. And instead, we built ships that expect failure. Ships that can lose half their systems and still fight. Dermot's scaled face showed what might have been embarrassment. The Council has learned a difficult lesson. We have been at peace too long. We forgot that war is not a science but an art of adaptation. Later that day, the full council convened. Every representative from hundreds of worlds was present, their attention focused on the small human delegation. High Counselor Derma stood. For decades, the Galactic Council has ranked civilizations by their technological advancement. Today, we recognize this system was flawed. Technology alone does not determine a species' value to the galactic community. The chamber was silent as Derma continued. Earth has shown us that innovation comes in many forms. While we develop more elegant technology, humans develop more resilient systems. While we built for perfection, they built for survival. Admiral Min was invited to address the council. She walked to the center of the chamber, to the same spot where Earth had been mocked months earlier. Humans have been fighting wars since before we left our caves, she said simply.